What is going on, everyone? Welcome along to another video here on the channel. My name is Ash. You'll know me as Brommer18. If you're new to this channel, thank you very much for joining me. In this series, I show you how to recreate real systems in FIFA 22. It's not a promise that you'll win every game, but it is a promise that they'll be recreated as accurately as I possibly can make it within the constraints of the game. Today, we are looking at Marco Rosa's Borussia Dortmund tactics, in particular the 4-2-3-1. Now, he likes to tweak around. Sometimes they play more of a 3-back or a 5-back system. In particular today, I want to look at the 4-2-3-1 because it's something that we haven't really looked at, because any of you who are longer term subscribers to the channel will know we did do a Borussia Dortmund career mode at the start of FIFA 22 and did generally play with the 3-back that was kind of inspired by him. So today I want to look at the 4-back that they've played in recent times. For any of you who are new, just a couple of quick notices. One, if you haven't done so already, check out my Patreon, the link is down below. I promise you lots of fantastic perks on there, including my FIFA 22 custom tactics package, where I give you deep dives, ratings and rankings on every tactic that I cover on the channel. Also, you can get exclusive tactics videos that aren't on YouTube, such as Unai Emery's Villarreal, Sean Dyche's Burnley, Thiago Motta's Spezia and more. And also access to my scouting package, where I give you lots of deep scouting reports based on hundreds and thousands of hours of my own analysis on a whole range of players around the world, on top of a whole host of other perks, so many that I can't go through and tell you all. On that note, if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so that you get notifications every time I upload a video. And with that being said, finally, it's time to get into the tactic. Right then, first things first, the formation. What do we have? Well, we have the 4-2-3-1. And it is a 4-2-3-1 wide. Tweaked about a lot with this, whether to make it the narrow one or the wide one, because the wingers are kind of more half wingers, kind of hybrid roles. But in the end, what you want to go for is you want to go for the 4-2-3-1 wide. Make sure that you have right mid, left mid, you got the cam. We're not going to change the right back and left back either. We leave them the same, as opposed to making them wing backs. So overall, it's 4-2-3-1 with the two defensive midfielders as well. And you can go with that. What about the tactics then? Well, defensively, we have a counter-pressing system, but we also have something where you're going to need to try and utilise the team press function, which is down and then left on the D-pad, whether you're playing on Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo Switch. Down and left on the D-pad, that will instigate a press for a certain amount of seconds. You want to mix that in with obviously this counter-pressing system, where once they lose possession, they're then going to look to try and regain it as quickly as possible. But it isn't a sort of extreme Gegen constant pressing tactic where it's something like relentless. The width is on 28. It's going to be narrow, but it's a bit closer to 30, which is when it goes a bit more balanced, because they're trying to get out and trying to support that press a bit more. They just leave a little bit more space, but not too much, so that, you know, it's going to be a narrow system. Ultimately, you want it to be very compact and try and stop the opposition from playing through you. The depth is up to 70, giving you a high defensive line, and it's going to help with that press, but it's also going to try and give the opposition less room to play in, because your block is just going to be further up. And this is a great way to try and stop the opposition, even when you're not actively pressing them in that moment. Offensively, we have fast build-up on build-up play. Now, I tinkered with this for a while, kept switching between, because what we're trying to recreate here with Dortmund is even the midfielders, not just the wingers, not just the centre forward, even the central midfielders are looking to burst forward when they regain the ball, hit teams on the counter-attack. They are deadly, deadly on the counter-attack. And so that's what we were looking to do. But at the same time, I was kind of conscious about goalkeeper restarts, for example. They will look to play short. They are still trying to play it from the back. Also, what you find with fast build-up is that sometimes when you are playing out from the back, your centre-backs have it. A lot of the team has gone forward and it's starting to create a bit of a gap in between. However, with slow build-up, I didn't want too many players coming really short, constantly showing for the ball. Instead, I wanted more of that emphasis on that counter-attack, so I did opt for fast build-up. What you can do on goalkeeper restarts is press R1 or RB on your controller, and that will then drop the block deeper, so that then you can more easily and more efficiently play out from the back from that goal kick. The chance creation is forward runs, getting lots of players running in behind. Not just about counter-attack though, just in general when they do have possession. in the opposition's half. They're constantly looking for players to penetrate, you know, the opposition's defence. They're looking for players to make those intelligent runs in behind, a high volume, a high intensity. It is a high intensity tactic. Tempo is very high, very quick, and you know, it is a little bit relentless. The width is up to 80, giving you a very, very wide shape in possession. They really do like to stretch the play, even though, and we'll come on to this a little bit later, the wide midfielders do look to try and angle, particularly the one on the left, will try and angle their runs and come inside, come short more. When they have possession, particularly in the deep area, they will stretch the play. They're looking to really create a lot of space to make it more easier to then try and play up the field, because there's going to be a lot more space dotted around, particularly in the central areas, those pockets, because they have stretched the play with their shape. Players in the box is up to 9. A lot of players getting into the box between 4 and 5. And this is again something I noticed with them. They're often, when they get into crossing situation, particularly when there's a cutback situation, they've got to the byline, they're going to have a lot of players storming into the box. Usually all 4 of the attackers, and also particularly when Bellingham is in central midfield in one of those 2 deeper central midfield roles, he will sometimes get in the box as well, if not regularly and often. And finally, with the 2 set pieces, we've got both of these on 4, and saw no reason to change that really. I am currently tinkering with maybe starting to make the free kicks up to 5, but I'm still doing a bit of research on that. So for now, we're leaving that on 4. So what about the player instructions then? Starting off with Cobble in goal, we have him when it comes to crosses, and that's going to really help you out in those crossing situations, because he's going to relieve a lot of pressure from you when the opposition do occasionally look to cross the ball in, although not very often, particularly on corners as well, although you can control that by, you know, moving them out of goal and repositioning them and so on and so forth. Still very, very handy. We've also got him on sweeper keeper as well, as he looks to pick up any loose balls. Always handy to do that, even if it isn't as effective on FIFA when you are playing that high line. With the 2 centre-backs, we keep them on normal. You don't need to change anything about them. And then that brings us onto the 2 full-backs, where there is a slightly different role for each one. So with Guerrero at left-back, we've got him on overlap, and we've got him on join the attack as well. And that's really where he's at his best. Getting forward, looking to overlap, support those attacks. He will complement Hazard or Royce or whoever it be on that left-hand side, because they're going to be the midfielder who looks to come inside more, drift inside, and plays that true half hybrid winger role. Whereas at right back, because of the fact you've got someone like Wolf, or sometimes it's Daniel Marlon on the right, who will often stretch the play more anyway and really constantly get wide and on the touchline, you don't need someone joining attack all the time. So with Paslak here, who's been playing in recent games, as of recording this, we've got him an overlap, but his attacking range is only on balance, as he'll only occasionally support the attack and not always. They often like to get a sort of a hybrid back three, and that's where we talk about how they often set up with an out and out back three. When they don't, sometimes they'll have the right back help to, you know, form a back three. Sometimes Emre Can will play there, things like that. So they'll all do little tweaks here and there. So on to the 2 defensive midfielders then. What we have here is a couple of differing roles. I'll also tell you how it changes depending on if someone like Dahoud is playing in the central areas with Witsel instead of Bellingham. So with Witsel, he's that out and out defensive midfielder, that anchor man, so to speak, sort of protecting, anchoring the defence, which means he's on stay back while attacking, and he shouldn't be venturing forward. His defensive behaviour is cut passing lanes, adopting that zonally orientated approach that Dortmund and Marcos do. Defensive position is cover centre with the 2 players on either side. Shouldn't need to be getting him dragged out wide. Instead, he's to sort of man that central areas, particularly when Bellingham on his left hand side will be getting forward. And his positioning freedom is on stick to position, as again, you want him just manning that hole and not really venturing out too far. Now with Bellingham, there is a different story, because he's that out and out box to box midfielder, just getting himself all over the park. So he's still on cut passing lanes, as is Witsel, but this time his attacking support is get forward, often making lots of runs. Really, the thing you notice about Bellingham as well is, because he's so physically gifted, is that, you know, he can do that with ease at high intensity throughout the 90 minutes of the game. So he's constantly with those long strides, moving all about the pitch, really creating a lot of mismatch options. He's also on cover centre, similar to Witsel, but then his positioning freedom is drift wide. You know, how many times have we seen Bellingham often come out wide into those areas of space that have been vacated and pick at the ball and then spring passes and spring crosses from there. That's what we're looking for from him. Again, utilising those physical traits that we have just spoken about. So what about the attacking three? Well, they're all on different roles, starting with Hazard, and I'll come on to how it changes with Dahoud at the end of this, by the way, so don't worry, I haven't forgotten. Now, with Forg and Hazard, we've got, as I spoke about, that hybrid winger role. So he's on comeback on defence, as is Wolf, who we'll get onto very, very shortly. But his chance creation is cut inside. He'll angle his runs, but when he doesn't make runs, because he won't be making many, he's on come short, which is going to help you to try and build up play through that left-hand side, but also supports Guerrero, because Guerrero is the one who's going to be overlapping, whereas Hazard comes inside more and then looks to play, as I say, that false number 10 role. His support on crosses is also on getting to the box for the cross as well. Now with Wolf, as I spoke about, it's different. He's also on comeback on defence, and he's on cut inside to make sure, again, he's angling his runs, supporting those central areas, but this time his support runs is on getting behind as he looks to utilise more of his pace and more of his movement. He plays that more out-and-out winger role compared to, obviously, Hazard, as I spoke about, being that false winger. And again, he's also on getting to the box for the crosses as well. With Marco Reus, again, comeback on defence with the defensive support, and he's also on support on crosses as well to get into the box of the cross, sorry. And then positioning freedom, he sticks to a position as he looks just to man that hole, man those advanced areas. Did sort of tinker with him drifting wide, because he does occasionally do that, but we didn't want to leave that area too vacant, which I felt like we kind of was, particularly when he come out onto the right hand side as well. So we left that on stick to position as well, and he should just play that nice number 10 role. Finally, with Erling Haaland up front, we've got him on getting behind for attacking runs. Fairly obvious, that one, we know what he's like, constantly trying to run in behind the opposition, utilising that just incredible pace that he's got, incredible energy in those long strides as well. Support runs is drift wide, and what we often find is he likes to vary his positioning across the defensive line. Constantly he's looking for that bit of space where the opposition defence have vacated a bit of an area, so he's constantly coming out either side, you know, spanning the width of the pitch in order to find a bit of space for him to make those runs into. Often what he likes to do is start in the middle, and then when he thinks like the opposition have kind of forgot about him, when Dortmund have regained possession, straight away he's looking to burst outside, you know, really drift wide into those areas as well. And his defensive support is on stay forward and make sure he's that out ball when you do win the ball back and you're looking to counter at pace. So now we have changed it around a little bit. What I've also noticed is sometimes they will have Dahoud in that deeper central midfield position, and then Bellingham will be pushed further up the pitch. And the reason why they do make these tweaks is, one, it does allow them to recycle possession more, because Dahoud still plays a role of more of a flat central midfielder. Kind of a deep line playmaker, but a bit of everything really. Can still play the role of that out-and-out defensive midfielder as well. And then with Bellingham up front, it does give them someone who's going to trap back more and be more of that strong defensive option from a further up the field. So it does allow them to be a little bit more measured in that regard. So what we have here is with Dahoud, we this time have him on stay back while attacking, as opposed to Bellingham, who was on get forward. And we still, instead of drift wide, this time we have him on free roam as he looks to just drop around, particularly in his own half. Just pick up those little bits of space and pick up the ball, etc., and get the ball moving. And then with Bellingham, generally similar, other than the positioning freedom, which this time is on free roam. Again, we're trying to get him around in as many pockets of space as possible, giving him the license to run and use those physical traits and get him, you know, on the ball as much as we can. So as a result, this time you got a bit more movement from that number 10, who isn't just picking up that advanced area in those advanced pockets all the time. Instead, you know, he's giving you options all around the pitch. So that's just something that you can also do, make little tweaks. I personally preferred it originally how it was, with, you know, Bellingham coming from a little bit deeper. You got Reus in there as well, you know, a little bit less movement there, a little bit more movement coming from deeper areas. I personally prefer it like that, but again, if you want to tweak it so that you can be a little bit more measured in possession, that is something that you can do. Right then, with that being said, it just about rounds off this video. If you've got any questions about the tactic, make sure to get at me in the comment section. I'll do my best to get back to you and answer any queries that you may have. Don't forget to check out my Patreon if you haven't done so already. The link to that is down below. Lots of fantastic perks on there. Ring the bell and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, so you get notifications every time I upload. Lots of great content coming your way. We've got a new suitable signing series where I'll show you the best players to sign in a position for specific tactics. So do go and check that out if you haven't done so already. Give me a follow on Twitter. The link to that is down below as well. We're now going to go into some gameplay where I'll show you how the tactic looks like firsthand, for any of you who couldn't really follow it during the video. And on that note, we're going to end it there. Drop a like if you've enjoyed it, and until next time, I will see you soon.